Ladies and gentlemen, YouTubers around the world, welcome back to another Dune Awakening video. I've been playing a lot of Dune Awakening. This is my base that I've spent, 300 plus hours at in Haga Basin. It's a huge base. You can see it's pretty ugly, but it's spacious. We got some pretty big penta shields. Pretty nice little ramp here for the buggy access underneath. It was never built with the carrier in mind, but we fit one in pretty easily by expanding this outward. And but we want to downsize now. We've gotten to the point where, having all this stuff all too spread out, I never designed the space properly. I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like inside. We've got all the water storage up here. We've got all our fabricators and production and stuff, our spice refineries and storage. But you can kind of see it's a little bit of a mess here. Like this ramp originally didn't extend upward. That was so that I can, get the buggy to the roof so the carrier can pick it up. And it's just kind of a mess of ramps now. So I want to downsize and, there's some payoffs, some advantages to building a small base that I've seen posted on Reddit, and one of them is you don't have to pay taxes. So let's go check that out. Let's learn together how to build a really small, compact base. We're starting out our base here. You want to find a nice level surface to to build the base. Probably when you drop the Subfief, you can just kind of get an outline of where you want it to actually be. That will be defining for the rest of the build, where like in space your base is going to be horizontally on the X and the Z axis, and then the Y axis is going to change, so you don't have to worry about that for now. But just go ahead and throw it down. And what you want to do is you want to build your first foundations. You want them to be close enough to the ground that your buggy is going to be able to drive in. Any ground vehicles can drive in, and then you want to be start at like the highest point, whichever point is at the highest elevation, and just drop a foundation like in the corner, as close to the corner as you can get it. You want to make sure that the sand isn't sticking up anywhere, so you have all the space to work with. So like a nice level spot, right? It's okay if it's not completely level. You only need one side to be flat to where you can drive the buggy in without a ramp, right? So next thing you want to do after you find the right corner, the right level for your foundation is you're gonna end up building up a little ramp or some walls here, and you're gonna actually have to move your Subfief up here, and you're gonna have to delete it and rebuild it. It's gonna be tricky at first. You want to build it up. You have your first level foundations, and then it's gonna be two more after that. You can see here that my Subfief got pushed upwards. Normally, if you build a Subfief, it's not going to be this high. But once you relocate it up there a couple more stories up, then you're going to be able to build up higher, right? So you want to do it about 2 stories. You could try 2.5. I've been fiddling around with it, trying to figure it out. For me, it seemed like 2 stories was good, was going to work. And then you can see like my foundations are mostly underground here, but in the actual Subfief range is probably a little bit larger than a foundation, so there is some space down there. But this is about as good as you can get it. I think you could probably get it a little better if you wanted to try. Maybe you'll be able to build a half wall higher than I did. But either way, I don't think you're going to get much higher than this. And then from there, once you have this set up, the tricky part with moving the Subfief up here is you're going to place it down, and then it's not going to let you build in the corners here, it's going to say like not within, you know, range. You just want to make sure that you can build 5 squares across in both directions. And then if you can, you want to also fit triangles on the 2 sides, on the 2 far sides, right? So we got triangles here, we've got a curved one here. I don't know how this fit, but it worked. But the far side could be a curve, and these are all triangles all the way across. And you want to make sure you know, you're just inside that range of your subfief. You can see it's barely fitting in there. But you might have to move, delete and remake your subfief a bunch of times. I probably had to do it like 20 or 30 times just to get it right. But once you have it all set up, you'll be good to go. And from here, you can start trying to design your base. You see like the outside here, you can't really build walls on these triangle pieces. Like on the outside, it's going to say outside the subfief. It's not going to let us build walls out there. But you can like put like, you know, directional wind turbines here. As you can see, I started to test it out, make sure it fit. And from here, now we can design the inside of our base and go from there. Another thing you want to check after you move your subfief up is, can I build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I believe there's one more level, 6 more above my first foundation. So a total of 7 up. 7 foundations upward should be the goal. Basically what you want to be able to do is build, make the 6th foundation your roof, and then you can build a large wind trap on top of that. So you can see here, we're just barely in the range, and everything is working in terms of verticality. So 5.5 by 5.5, you know, on the Z and X axis, and then the Y axis is should be a total of 7 if you include the first foundation level, which, you know, you can see here we're up to 7 here, right? Okay. So one thing that's kind of weird here, guys, if you're using that half walls to put stuff underneath, you're gonna notice that there's only one type of like floor that's gonna work for like shoving a Deathstill underneath it. So let's take our Deathstill, and you can see here I can't place it underneath these other types of floors, the comb, the regular comb floor, the you know, like the granite floor, the basic one, and then even the Harkonnen one. I can't, if we try to shove it back there, it's not gonna work either. But there is this one called the observer floor, which is a twitch drop. So if you don't have it, I guess you're effed. But you can place a Deathstill underneath that one. Maybe there's another type. If there is, I don't know it. I haven't tested all the roof tiles, but yeah, guys, sorry. Unfortunately, you need the twitch drop to do this, it looks like. One more thing about this observer floor that's a kind of a pain is you can't, once you fit something underneath, you can't really build on the level on top of that. So you still have these Deathstills here. There's like a bug where it's not gonna let me like build anything, even something small like on this one above it. So you kind of want to have to build the base. If you're going to use this technique that I'm using, you got to build it from like the top down, I guess, because otherwise you're not just going to be able to place anything on top of these half walls. You have to start at the top, work your way down. Weird, I know, it's a bug. I mean, I guess we're using a bug. This is probably a bug that you can even fit these Deathstills in here in the first place, right? So yeah, it's just bugs all the way down, right? So we have brought our carrier to the new base as we're building it to the compact base, and we have found that we can store it on top. We have a pentashield of sorts here, and I was worried that this top thruster here was a bit exposed over the top of the pentashield, and as well as these tails and of course the wings. The wings, I know from like the assault, they won't usually take damage near the end, so I thought those would be safe, but I wasn't sure about the tail, right? We just had a sandstorm pass overhead and no damage was taken. So yeah, this is gonna work. We're actually gonna be able to do the build with the carrier here. Now that's assuming that we can fit everything else inside, so we haven't really built out the interior yet, but things are looking good. I have space up on top here for 3 of these large wind traps. I only use 2 on my big base, so you know, we don't even need that much, right? This is gonna be great. We just need to build out this middle part And we got space for the spice refinery in here. We've got the it's all starting to come together. I think this kind of sealed the deal, and I'm going to definitely commit to this base because it looks like it's going to work. Welcome back. It has been a couple of days and we've been working hard on this base, so we'll give you a quick tour. We'll do a little trip around the outside first. I'll grab one of my copters. You can see it isn't the prettiest sight, but it's compact, it's good. We'll wrap around so you can really see what's going on here. Lots of pentashields for the copters, and lots of power and water storage on the outside. We even have some fabs, we'll talk about that later. Even a storage bin. We could even store more stuff out here. You can see there's more space. We could definitely make more work with all this, but it's just a huge mess out here. But we'll do a tour at night inside of the base. You guys will be able to see how beautiful it can be. The interior definitely looks a lot nicer, I would say, than the exterior. All right, welcome back to the interior tour. So first thing you have here is your buggy rolls right up onto your advanced fab. You could even fit 2 here if you wanted to. When you power up the fab, these little bars are going to pop up on the corner, which makes it a little bit more difficult to navigate around in here. So you typically want to keep this off, as you can see here. Sometimes you'll glitch when you run over them, so sometimes I like to keep it up, but for the most part, keep this powered down until you need it. We've got 2 medium chemical refineries here. I like to do that because that's what I had at my old base. You have a lot of silica blocks, cobalt paste, fuel, whatever you need is going to be a lot of production, so it's nice to have 2. Large ore back there fits nice and snug. We've even got 6 advanced Deathstills, which I was talking about placing earlier. We finally figured it out, and we got them all in there. Storage down here for bodies and such, and spice. Refinery fits in here nice and tight. Verticality is you sugar wire or your suspensor belt to the next level, however you want to do that. Sometimes you'll mess up, but it takes a little bit of practice. Or if you don't want to worry about trying to aim this thing right, you kind of learn it as you go. I'm sure I'll get better at it, but you can also just use your suspensor belt, even though you're going to burn through it pretty quickly going up and down the space all day. But this is the main hub here with all this stuff in it. We've got all our drop boxes for ore, for everything we need. We've got our different circuits set up, pretty much using all the circuits outputs for advanced fabs. We're going to a box, for survival fabs. If I'm making filters or if I'm making any kind of part for the fabs, we'll go in a box. We got our weapons. Fabricators, those output upstairs. All the different refineries we talked about will output to different ones, so it's all nice and set up. We've pretty much got everything you need. The only thing we don't really run in our base build is a blood purifier. You can see the fabs also are fitting in this nice little 2 half tile or 1 full tile section. How did I do that? The answer is you power down the advanced survival fab here, and you build over it while it's powered down. And then you'll be able to power it up as you wish, and it'll work just fine. Now, as we go up here, you're going to see more fabs. We'll talk about the orthocopter situation too. We've got the vehicle fabs out here. We got the advanced garment fab, because these can't fit in a 1 tile set, so they're up here on the outside for now. Or water access if we need it. Even a storage for all my overflow is there. Now I can fit at least 3 orthocopters. Right now I use 2 scouts, usually just scout parked here. That's the one I have stowed currently. And then these 2 here. We have 4 tiles, 4 half tiles, I believe, in here, but you don't need that many. You could do it 3 easily enough with the assault. The thing is, it's nice to have a little extra space for your assault, especially when you're entering from a vertical pentashield. This can be a little bit of a pain. Stuff can glitch through walls. It can get kind of jammed up. So that's just the reason I have a little extra, because we had a little extra space with the way we set up the base. So this seems to be like the way to do it. On the top here, kind of already talked about the carry a little bit, but let's take a look. The main idea of this is not to be a beautiful base, it's to be a hard Harkonnen, utilitarian base, right? So we don't care too much about the looks. We're more interested in the usage, right? So we've got 6 more storage bins up here, stuff to take to the deep desert. For my deep desert base goes up here. Stats on the Sub-fief. This is what we're looking at here. We've got, you know, the production is almost max. We've got a couple spare slots. Light, I mean, this is just aesthetics. Storage, we have plenty of space still. But we're using a lot of power. This is with everything powered up, by the way. Everything's fully powered. You know, we're over at 5,000 power. But you could disable things if you wanted to. For me, it's easier just to keep everything online and not have to worry about enabling, disabling. But I will now talk about a few things that I learned while building this base that are very helpful and very important to know. That can be either challenges or make things a little easier for you guys. For some reason, when I put these directional wind turbines, like right here where these water cisterns are, they didn't produce power. I think maybe it's because we're too close to this rock face, and that combined with the roof above our heads made it so that it was basically a fully sealed environment and they wouldn't produce power there. But we were able to produce power on the backside here. You can see this outside of the base. This is all the triangle stuff I was talking about. Very important to fitting all of the stuff you need for your base. Amazing. We even have it in the very corner here where the two triangles meet. We have kind of a curved wall, and somehow it fits inside the base just barely. Yeah, I don't know why, even though it extends, I guess it doesn't count the part as part of the object. So, you know, that's good to know, right? You can really squeeze in a lot here. So up here, we've got more water cisterns, and a lot of this stuff at first, you know, I had to experiment with building roofs above things because the desert, the sandstorm is going to damage stuff if it's not covered. And some of these things were exposed at first, but once I added in more, you know, more roof layers here and stuff and squeeze stuff against the wall, we're gonna find. We just had a sandstorm recently, so we can actually double check, make sure that everything is fully repaired and that it's not actually going to be something we have to worry about in the future. All these water cisterns, they're all, yeah, there's nothing here is taking damage. Earlier today, I noticed this one. Yeah, this one is still not perfect, so we're gonna have to try to figure out that large water cistern. If not, we'll just demolish it, and you know, we'll build more small ones or whatever. Right now, our water capacity is over 1.2 million, so you know, we could easily just demolish this one if we can't get it to work, but we can try moving it over here. We could move it up top somewhere. So real quick here with the carrier, you can see it fits nice and snug inside a 4x2, which is a lot smaller than you might expect, right? Lengthwise, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all the way across. But we actually originally had the pentashield one space larger and realized we could bring it back in. You could even, if you wanted to, I think you can even reduce the length here by 1 as well, because I did some testing with the Sandstorm and the carrier actually doesn't really take damage. If I don't know what the limit is exactly, but I pushed it all the way to like here and you're still not taking any damage on your tails, which is amazing. Another thing here, which is really nice. So like, let's see, if we push it all the way back here, how much would we be able to move this all back one? Possibly. It's kind of close, probably not. But I don't know, you could test it further if you wanted to. You know, push it all the way, like right here. Does it take damage, right? I'm sure at some point it will, right? But so far we haven't found that point. So you could probably even fit this in by a 4 square if you wanted to test that. And have even more like storage or whatever, more space on your roof for power generation up here. But what I really like here, which I found is, you know, the carrier has this like big open chunk behind it. It's got a lot of space underneath it, as you can see here. Sometimes you glitch out, you know, but the nice thing is that say you want to use your carrier to do buggy runs, and you don't want to, you know, have to remember sometimes you might, you know, dump your buggy downstairs and then forget about it and not move it inside, or you just don't want to deal with that. If you want to just keep your buggy on the horizontal pentashield all the time, you can actually do that. So I will show you real quick what we do sometimes, like when I was moving my base out here, is just real quick, just drop the buggy like on this, the bottom side of this, you know, pentashield here. It is to take a little bit of, you know, maneuvering to do this, obviously, but right there. And now we can squeeze the carrier in just like a glove, right? Slam it right down, easy peasy. And our buggy is a little glitched out, but it can easily maneuver here. You can drive it off the wall now if you want, back downstairs. You can even fit medium, well, I guess they're technically the largest storage box here instead. If you don't want to do this with the buggy, as an alternative, I at one point had 3 big storage boxes right there behind the carrier. You won't be able to place them there when the carrier is there, but you can place them when it's not, and then bring the carrier in and land it down there. So it's really nice, really easy to work with. The carrier fits a lot easier than you would ever expect, right? It's amazing. So there you go, guys. Hope this was really helpful. We'll definitely be doing some more videos on other things, other aspects of the game, but I'm really excited about this base. Happy to be using it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or ideas. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.